All right, I think we are live. Okay, I want to make sure we can get our comments in. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Embracing Brilliance Live with Dr. Kim. I am your host, Dr. Kim of Align with Dr. Kim, where we heal from burnout so we can create balance and embrace our well being and express our brilliance. So, you were definitely made for more than just living on a big rock. You were made for more than just paying your bills on auto pay. You were meant to live your life in your most brilliant form. And if you are a fellow high achieving, introverted woman of faith, hello, hi, I see you. Those of you all who are supporters of women of faith and highly introverted people, hello, welcome. I see you. Thank you so much for being here. So let's say hello in the comments so I'll know that you're here. We are on a live stream, and I do have some questions I want to answer on tonight as well on this topic. So, we are talking about the power of self love. Welcome to the month of February. I want to make sure that you all can hear me just fine. So I'm going to pause right quick. Okay, pause over. Nice. So all of our sound is getting through because I want to make sure that it's coming in as well. So we're talking about the power of self love on tonight and why it's a must have for self achievers. If you've always wanted to boost your confidence, have a better work life balance, and more satisfying relationships, self love is the key. And we're going to talk about self love all this month. I'm also excited because I am in the last phases of bringing our self love clinic back again. That is something, a labor of love that I have been working on for the past few years here. I do it every year, with the exception of maybe 1 year. But definitely, I'm excited about the people that are coming to speak on this self love clinic this month because I have really had an epiphany, or just it's been quite a journey in understanding what self love is, and basically understanding that it's from a place of saying, I am enough. So, we're going to be talking about operating from a place of self love, how to get more confidence in that, what it really means. If you're Christian, is there selfishness? Where does my faith fit in with that? We're going to talk about those things this month as well. But definitely on tonight, I just want to start with the basis of why it's so important for high achievers. Hey, how you doing out there? Say hello in the comments. I definitely want to greet you here. I see you watching. We got one viewer here. So I definitely want to make sure that we are greeting you in the comments, of course. And I want to make sure we are answering questions and talking about this as well, because self love is something that a lot of us we pick up as we grow up, of course, but a lot of us did not have those stable or sure foundations of gaining self love. And sometimes we go through a lot of hard knocks and hits in life just so we can get to a better place of understanding what self-love is as well, and what it means to be to operate in that place of self-love. So I want to pull up my slides here. Y'all, I gotta pull up some content so I can share it in here. You know what, I may not be able to. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. Let's see, share screen. I want to share this one. Copy. Or do I want to share? Yeah, this is the one that I want to share. Okay. Alrighty. I want to make sure that y'all can see me here with this one. Okay. Um ooh, look at that. We can go back and forth. Okay. I like it. Okay, so I am going to move this over here so I can see that as well. All right, so let's start with this question. So, what do you gain by placing yourself last? And I ask that question because people who are high achievers, let me bring this out. People who are high achievers do a lot. To say the simplest, doing a lot for other people can be rewarding. A lot of us, that's how we were trained. A lot of us, that's how we were raised. And we were praised, raised and praised. We were supported for that. We were um, rewarded for that, for being the person that was always taking care of other people or being so helpful. And the problem is you're unknowingly at the same time training yourself to neglect your own needs. Unless you saw it growing up, unless somebody actively pulled you by the hand, or you just somehow became intentional about caring for yourself, your own needs may have gotten neglected. And so I think that's one of the ways of people pleasing. And people pleasing is just a bad habit that people pick up. It's not something to be ashamed of. If you notice that you have those tendencies, I think probably 95% of all women have some type of people pleasing habits about them. And yes, it is something that has to be addressed. It's something that we look at because we can bury ourselves in the concerns of other people. And no, it's not just women. Men go through this as well and enter into the realm of savior complex, entering into the realm of superwoman and superman syndrome of trying to save everyone else. Which brings me to my question again of what do you stand to gain? If you notice that you've been doing it, how is it benefiting for you to place yourself last and to take care of all kinds of other problems and things? And you probably be saying, well, Dr. Kim, I have my kids, I have my family to take care of. And true, you do have those things. And yes, you also have yourself, and you have a way that you can start to prioritize everybody's needs as well, including your own. Because the main point or the ticket here is, if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't take care of yourself, you cannot take care of anyone else very well. That includes your purpose, that includes your family, that includes everything that you're supposed to have that God is giving for you as well. When you do not take well care of yourself, and that's the concept of what self love is. Self love is you having a attention or a regard to your own well-being without sacrificing it to please other people as well. And that's a healthy way to be. And some of you all may be cringing when I say that. It's like, oh my God, I get to be selfish. Yes, you get to be selfless. You get to understand how to care for yourself so you can show up in your fullness. A lot of times when we are going, and doing so many things, and we haven't stopped to realize that, we haven't had enough water, we haven't had enough to eat, we're not eating adequately, we're not sleeping adequately, just those basic needs get put behind, then sickness starts to set in, or either you can't perform well, or you start having some emotional issues, some relationship issues. You notice that you're just not finding a lot of enjoyment in your activity that you were once involved in. So all of those type of things can add up, and it can go really left, if you will. Things can go left when you don't take care of the things that you're supposed to take care of. So, looking at, what you stand to gain from those things, which is very, very little, when you place yourself last. So now we're going to flip that around and start to place ourselves first. So, why are we talking about self love? What is it going to do for people who are high achievers? Number one, if you notice that you're a perfectionist, slight perfectionist, I think we all have a high standard of doing things. People who are high achievers, having a high standard, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Having unrealistic expectations is where things get to be in the red zone. That's where the stress area comes from. When you have unrealistic expectations of yourself and other people around you, and I know some people say, oh, well, I don't have any expectations at all. I don't think that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna turn my microphone on. I know this is gonna sound different. Goodness. Okay. I just realized that we are live and that's okay. So, okay, back to what I was saying. Um, Understanding that perfectionism is something that is an illusion will definitely help you. Understanding that when you have come from a place of self love, when you are operating from a place of enoughness and understanding that you are learning with everything, you give yourself the freedom to be enough as you are. That unlocks you. That takes off all the chains. That removes all of the friction from around you to unrestrict you to go as far as you want to go with something. It releases you from a limitation. And when we are, out here doing everything that we want to do, that we can do, being limited is the last thing that we want. So understanding that there's a process and you have a learning process and giving yourself room to learn from that is an act of self-love. That's one of the greatest things that I've experienced over this past, I would say recently, the past few months, just understanding that, realizing that, okay, this is something that I'm being trying to be a perfectionist at and don't even know I'm doing it. And that's why I said having it's understanding the difference between having a high standard, having an unrealistic standard. If it's something that's way beyond the goal of what you're trying to do, if it's more than what the goal or what the mission is, sometimes that can be considered unrealistic. If it's something that you don't see how it's going to happen, or if it's going to take some type of complicated effort, moving moon and stars and things like that, I think that's another way you could tell it's unrealistic, and you may need to become a little bit more simpler in the things that you're looking forward to. And that's what I had to realize. And it was such a huge sigh of relief to realize that, okay, wow, I don't have to hold myself to such a huge standard here. I can simply go forward in what it is that I have this set for and let that be enough so I can go forward in it. Self love also helps you with building resilience. There are going to be times when we have setbacks. There are going to be times when we have to gather emotional strength for things so we can understand, what's going on around us, what's going on within us, so that way we won't give in to the setback, right? Um, God is always working things out for our benefit, even when it looks like a setback. God is always making it where things will come through for us, even if it's at the last minute. And we don't let go of the things that we are trusting Him for, is what I'm saying. We always put those things in His hands, knowing ultimately at the end of the day that we're going to be okay. A level of self love helps you to be more compassionate on yourself, meaning you be kind to yourself. You only focus on the things that are in your control, and the things that's outside of your control, you learn how to have a positive mindset about it. I talk about this a lot in my free guide that I have. I have a guide about how to go from burnout to brilliance. And in one of those points in there, I talk about how to switch over from having a negative mindset to a more positive mindset. And that can be a daily activity that you do. It's a daily motion that I have in there for you to go through with working on that. So it does require a little bit of work, but starting immediately, even with shifting what positive things can come from whatever happened, that setback, it can help you when you're going along in your journey as well. So, self love can also be fuel for your motivation. Why do I say fuel for motivation? Because we sometimes are driven internally, and we are sometimes driven externally by things. I know, just like everybody else, I like nice things. I like shiny things just like anybody else would. I also understand that if it's something outside of me that's making me want it, it can change with the times. It can change with the wind. It's like, you will see something that you like here, and then another 6 months later, you might want something else. It's just like, when little children playing with toys, they'll see little Johnny playing with this, and then they'll want to play with it. That's a human thing. I used to say that was just like little children, little kid thing. It's like, no, that's a human thing. But being a person who is internally motivated, that's where your true satisfaction is going to come from. I talk about external things that are motivating you because you can be chasing the wind, and the wind can just keep changing, and you notice after a while you just chasing things, or you're accomplishing something and you got something here, and but you're still not satisfied. But having a level of self-love will help you say, I am internally motivated by the efforts that I put ahead. I am internally motivated because of the progress that I am making on my goals versus something that's outside of you. That means nobody can take it away from you because it's internally, it's coming from within you, that type of motivation that you have, all because you are a loving, caring person. You're caring about your own efforts towards something instead of comparing what you have to somebody else's. These are just a few things that self love can help you in understanding why it's so important. That will help you have such a greater level of work life balance because you will start to understand that I don't have to overwork here. This level of work is simply enough, whether you are a person in your own business or if you're an entrepreneur in another business and you have leadership skills, you will be the type of person still, even in that position, working towards things in a way that is balanced for yourself and for your company, all because you have an internal motivator sit within yourself versus something outside of you. Now, improving of relationships, I think that is so key. Now, what does self love have to do about the relationships that I have? Well, the fulfillment, once again, the fulfillment that you get on the inside. You are going to have healthier relationship with other people because you have a healthier relationship with yourself. When we understand how to communicate our feelings, when we have that emotional intelligence, understanding how we feel, how to relate to other people, how to share what we're feeling, how to support somebody else, how to be there for them without sacrificing our own mental and emotional well being, it's a synergistic relationship, and both people can start to grow in that space, and you start to realize, wow, I am doing better with relationships than I did without them. And I am speaking to the introverts here. Oh, I had a conversation about being introverted yesterday, and one of my friends, she was thinking, well, she was talking about how um she's not really shy, and she's been getting into the community more. She's been collaborating with people more, and I was sharing with her, a lot of people, there's a misconception about introversion. They think it's just being shy. We gather our strength from just our alone time. We have to retreat so that way we can build our energy back up. Like me, I've been at work all day around patients and around other people. And now here I am sitting in front of a video camera, but I feel so comfortable and I'm in my space because I'm with myself. And I've, did my journaling, all those type of things. So that's the way that I can feel up, so that way I can show up well in the next space also. So it's not about it's not about being alone or being shy as an introvert. Introverts have very successful relationships as well, especially people who are working on their levels of self love with it also. So I know y'all may be wondering, let me come out of this. Y'all may be wondering, like, okay, well, how do I know that I am growing in self love? What types of things do I need to do so I can have a better level of self love? And I am going to tell you to cultivate self love. I am going to suggest you start with practicing self compassion. Now, self compassion, treating yourself with kindness, treating yourself with understanding, meaning you got to stop being hard on yourself. And this is just like kind of like a checklist for people who have noticed that, wow, how am I doing on my self love levels, especially if it's something that can help me with my confidence, or something that can help me to, perform better or to do better or show up better for myself in life. Because it's not just about, I'm sorry, showing up for yourself better, but when you feel yourself, FILL, when you feel yourself with love, when you are being perfected in love, you will show up differently for the people around you. You will show up differently for the community that surrounds you, and you will receive more as well, because you won't have you won't I won't say you won't. Let me take that back. You will have another level of fulfillment within yourself, and it's a joy. It's a joy that other people will ask you, what has changed within yourself. But practicing that self-compassion, let me go back into my screen. Yes, here are some things that I'm going to share with you on tonight. And of course, you pick which ones that you want to work on, and let me know in the comments which one you working on as well. So practicing self-compassion, you want to challenge the negative self-talk. If you are questioning yourself, I had this very same thing go on today. And this is why I say you have to challenge it. You can't let negative stuff just run all across your mind. You have to stop it right then and there, because the negative committee will take over. They will open the door. They will invite their little friends in, and their other little cousins called fear and doubt and hesitation and all other type of negativity will start to come in, and you challenge it with the truth. Is this really true? What do I believe about myself? You start stating positive things about yourself, and you start focusing more on the things that you do want and the things that are working out well for you. And it's like you start a thought train going in the right direction, because thought train can go in any direction, but definitely stopping, challenging the negative thoughts. And sometimes you have to do that multiple times throughout the day. You do. Also, prioritizing self care is a must when you are doing that. You are training yourself that you are someone that is valuable. You are someone that's worthy of well being. You're someone that's worthy of love. And you're able to pour within yourself from that. You start to feel like yourself again. Also, the last one is celebrating your accomplishments. I don't know how many times I can say this again. I think I will always say this, but always be in celebration mode. I'm celebrating right now. I am celebrating right now. Those of you all who are being resilient right now, who are listening to me, you've had a lot of things to go on with you today. I want to say congratulations to you. You made it. You survived 100% of everything that tried to take you out because you are made you are here and you made it. So you celebrate everything. And even when you have those moments, this is how you stack both of those. If you notice that you having a moment where you need some positivity around you, you can celebrate things. Even if it's something that happened 2 3 years ago, you can celebrate that thing. Just a thought of it and remembering it and bringing it back up, you're rehearsing those positive emotions within your body. You're practicing and rehearsing positive memory. Therefore, you're going to attract more positive things to happen within your life as well. Just by having that change of emotion, you're going to change the weather in the room. You're going to change the way your mind works. You're going to change the way your thought patterns are working just by feeling, even if it's an old accomplishment, feeling that accomplishment that you had. Awesome. So I also wanted to say, if you know this is something that you want to put into action, please take one step at a time. Be simple about it. We are going to talk about this the entire month together. We do have a summit coming up. I will have information about that on all my channels and on my page as well, so you can see how you can get involved in that. There will be no cost to that summit, in case some of you are wondering, and we will have those dates out for you so that way you can participate in it also. So my slide has closed off, but let me take that on out. So the last slide was just talking about if your self-love, knowing that you're acting on self-love, it means that you're a person that's setting boundaries. You're a person that's embracing your imperfection and you're living authentically. Check your boundaries. If you notice that you've been letting things slide lately, yeah, it's time to review what is going on and where you need to set a boundary, especially if it's something just within your, you want to focus on the things that you can control. If you want to focus on, I need to set this boundary so I can get better sleep at night. I need to set a boundary with my partner, with the kids, so that way that I can, get these assignments done at night, things like that. And communicating those boundaries, not just setting them, but communicating them and letting people know the consequences of them. That is a big one as well. We can have a whole nother conversation about that one, about the consequences on it. But that's how what a person walking in self-love looks like. Yes, you are caring for yourself and doing what's best for you. Self-compassion is also a fierceness that you have. And I say this because sometimes you got to put your foot down, meaning you do it in love, but you do it with, a firm kindness with things. And that's being compassionate towards yourself, your goals, the future that you want, because you is yours. Those are the things that you want to set in place, and you have the ability to do that. Embracing your perfections, you imperfections. Embrace imperfection. Embracing your imperfections allows you to create. It allows you to flow as you need to. If you do not embrace the imperfection, meaning you say it's okay and it's enough, you will still be stuck or be in a place of limitation. But embracing an imperfection allows you to move beyond it. It allows you to be more fluid, not just in your thinking, but in your methods and how you do things as well. And sometimes you'll find that you relate to other people and other people relate to you more. They relate to you better when you take off the cloak over the imperfection when you're trying to cover it up. There are also different other methods to embrace those things, but you start small. I'm pretty sure there's something that I said that you want to implement and take your choice of what you want to do. You know exactly what it is if that was something that struck a nerve for you. So also the last thing is making sure that you are living authentically, being in alignment with your own values, being in alignment with things that you say you want, being in alignment and choosing those things. It takes courage. It also takes a different level of it. There has to be a desire there for it, because you get to the point eventually, I believe, you get to a point to where you just say enough is enough, and you just go all out for your desires. You just go all in on everything that you say you want. You go all in on everything that is coming to you, and you give it your full yes. Living authentically can be a challenge, especially if you're coming out of that place of the people pleasing that we were talking about before. But this is the importance of choosing to walk in a different level of love. I also wanted to say that this was one of the questions that came up with this topic is, isn't this selfish to grow more in self-love? Like, what do I do about this if this is if you feel like it's not a faith move? If does that make sense? So understanding that there's a difference between self-love and self-worship. I don't think there's anything with loving yourself. My understanding of it was actually from my space of faith, because I had to learn that if God made everything and everything God made was good, including me, and I am good, how does God feel if I don't love the thing that He called good? How would God feel about me saying that I don't love His child if I'm His child? And so I said, I need to love the thing that God made. And that thing is the person of me. And it kind of both went in hand for me. And I know self-love is not a concept outright or directly in the Bible that I have seen. Somebody else has seen it. Please let me know if you've already done a study on it or something. But I know that's like a psychological or psychology term. But I also understand that, you know, there is a way that is not pleasing to God, which is the self worship. When you are obsessed with yourself, or you in worship with yourself, you are esteeming and high, elevating yourself higher than what you should be. I know that's the territory that we don't want to get in, but I do understand that there is a healthy love that you have for yourself, and God has a huge amount of love that's greater than anything else than we have for ourselves. So I'm not at war with it anymore. And anybody else that may have had some type of issue with it, I definitely just wanted to submit. That's what how I would answer that question and say, you know, you have to have a healthy form of love for the thing that God made, and that thing is you. And also to respond to the love that God has for us, you would have to act and understand what loving yourself looks like. And only I believe God can show you that or what that looks like for you. So, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say about that. But yeah, this has been amazing talking about self love. A lot of people don't see self love as a strategy, but it definitely is. Having that understanding of it and operating from a place of self love is definitely something that we want in our arsenal, because if we go overboard, we're doing too much, if we're neglecting ourselves and, you know, steady being a slave to perfectionism, we will never get to the point to where we can understand and hold our own brilliance and walk in everything that God has for us. Yeah. So self-love. That's it for me on tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining me in this live stream. I will see you guys back here again. I do go live once a week on Mondays at 7:30. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.